Hey everybody, and welcome to the next Smoke and Flame quick tip. Now this one's going to be on the correct way for avoiding negative frames when using batch effects. Now negative frames used to be a lot more of a problem pre the latest 2017 extension 1. A lot of these problems have gone away now, and I'll show you in a second, and that's mostly to do with the new guy that we have here, which is the start frame, which lives in batch. But if you are new to Smoke or Flame, a lot of you won't realize the pain that was when you had to extend your track from something that had handles. Now, to demonstrate this, I'm just going to open this clip as a sequence. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to trim this so we have handles on each side. So right now, it's got 15 and 17 on the tail. So if I just promote this to batch effects, and the first thing I'm going to make sure this is on segment range. You see my start frame is 1. If I jump out though, the start frame is actually 15. Now what I'm going to do, just to prove a point of it is actually better now, if I go into the stabilizer here and let's just turn off tracker 2 and just make it about tracker 1, and we analyze forward, it's done the track, we jump out, but now say there comes a editorial decision, we need more frames this way, and if we just pull this guy out, so now we're say at 6 and jump in, you see now we're in negative frames here, and this used to be a very big problem in terms of just having to reshift everything, but it's actually not as bad now, and I'll show you. I'm just going to set this to actual from segment to media range, and you see it's showing how much is available to clip on each side, and if I enter, just press shift just to see where my first keyframe was, and if I just turn it to backward, even though we're on frame 1, analyze backward, you see we successfully tracked in negative frames. Now this used to be the real problem, was you couldn't do that. So this is great, and I'm really stoked that this lives in batch effects now, and I'm assuming it's because of the new start frame thing that exists. But again, this negative tracking sometimes still might not be what you want. Like if you're a purist and you just want always your first frame to be 0, this might not work. If you're in a rush and you didn't prep something in a certain way, this can be very handy. So the way to do this correctly, so it always shows your frames, is the other way around. So I'm going to duplicate this guy and then just go remove batch effects. So now I'm just back to the clip. And before, the way to do this to avoid the negative frames is just here, we see we've got the same clip, but the handles pulled all the way out. So the trick for this is to have no handles, promote it to batch, then jump out, and then trim it down to our handles. So now if I jump into here, and if this is back to segment range, you see our first frame is 7, which is true to the start frame from the timeline. So if I do go and chuck in a 2D transform and just jump in, you see we do start from 7. So if I just chuck this here and turn off the second one, analyze forward, you see, yep, it's tracking to what we want. But if I go to media range now, you see we're not going to get into negative frames. And again, it's been greatly improved for this latest version. But again, if I just jump in, analyze backward, you see it's not a problem just to do that. So again, it's not as big of a deal as it was in the past, but it's good to know that if you don't want to have negative frames show up, this is the way to do it. So that's going to be it for this quick tip, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more.